Good afternoon, everyone. Today's the memorial of St. Boniface, Bishop and Martyr. Thank you for joining me today on our afternoon reflections. Today's going to be like a Q&A. So Sandy gave me all the questions that you have asked. And please, if you have another question, please, Sandy will answer them and just email her. Her email address is on the website. And you could either call during the office hours from 9 to 5 and Sandy will be able to pick up if you have any questions, if you're still unclear. But let's see with these questions and these answers, hopefully maybe all of your questions would be answered. I don't know, but I'll give it a shot. How's that? So, Father, what masses are we allowed to attend while we're in the yellow phase? You are able to attend daily mass Monday through Saturday at 9 a.m. and weekend masses on Saturday at 4 p.m. and Sunday at 9 a.m. and 12 noon. Okay? Do I have to attend Mass in person if I am uncomfortable coming back at this time? No. The dispensation for the obligation to attend Mass on Sundays remains in place. You are still encouraged to keep Sunday as a holy day. St. Mary will live stream Sunday Mass at 9 a.m. every Sunday and continue to live stream daily Mass at 9 a.m. The Sunday Mass will remain available throughout the day on our YouTube channel, Facebook page, and parish website. Remember, if you are not feeling well, running a fever, or if any health conditions that you have make you more susceptible to COVID-19, we ask that you please stay home for the remainder of the yellow phase. Is there any special seating arrangements in church? Yes. In order to maintain proper recommended social distancing, only certain pews will be open for seating. Ushers will escort you when you come into the building and sit, and seat you to ensure everyone's health and safety. Please note that members of the same household will not need to social distance from each other, only from other households. Now, special seating. When it comes to the elderly or those with special needs or handicapped individuals, I'm going to ask you to please come through the center door. There's no other way that we can manage this. I'm sorry to tell you that, but you have to come through the center doors, and then we will bring you up to the first pew, because I know you won't be able to get out of your pew for communion, and I will, of course, bring you Holy Communion there. Okay? I'm sorry about that. It's difficult for all of us. And we don't have a lot of people who are coming as ushers during these 3 open masses, public masses. So I'm asking you kindly if you would come through the center door with everybody else. And as you wait, please, 6 feet distance as you wait to enter into the church. And please have your mask on. Here's the next question. What door shall I use to enter? While all the doors will be open, so door handles will not need to be touched, and for ventilation, everyone would enter through the main vestibule doors. The side exits by the Blessed Mother statue and the St. Joseph statue, and the side front doors with the steps are only for exiting. Okay? Now, we're saying that right now that they're all going to be open for ventilation, but I might have to open them once Mass begins. You know why? You'll be confused if I have all those opening. How about people listening to this? You're probably saying, how about people not listening? They're going to see the doors open, they're going to come in. So I probably will have all the doors open once Mass begins, because we need ventilation. Remember I told you we have tiny windows? And you just need ventilation. It's good. It's good that we have a ventilated room. But I can't do that before Mass begins, because then it will have all, chaos come in, havoc. And I'd rather just have everyone come through the front door. Is that okay? Would you please do that? Pretty please? Come through the front door only. And when you're waiting in the front door, please make sure you're 6 foot distance in waiting, okay? Now, if you see someone with special needs, like with a walker, would you let them in front of you so that they could get to their place by the ushers as quickly as possible? Because I don't think they could stand that long. So would you do that? Would you be charitable in that area? I know you will, but I just have to bring it to your attention. With reduced seating, what happens if we reach capacity in the church? Based on discussions with the Archdiocese of Philadelphia and information from other parishes and dioceses throughout the country, the number of people we expect to attend in person should be able to be seated in church. If we do reach capacity, you will have the option of being outside and hearing the Mass through the church doors or watching the Mass virtually on your phone. If you are outside the church building, the ushers will escort you inside to receive communion. If this continues to be an issue in the next several weeks, we will reevaluate the situation to help accommodate those who are attending. See, this is the first weekend. I don't know. I don't have an RSVP, and RSVPs don't really always work. So you may say to yourself, Father, why don't you do an RSVP? Because they don't work. Because, the procrastinators will always be a procrastinator. Those who send in their RSVPs always early will be those ones. So you always run in the gamut that it's not going to be really a clear telling of who's going to be attending Mass. That's why we did not do an RSVP. When should I arrive for Mass? While we do encourage everyone attending to arrive a little earlier than they usually do, no more than 15 minutes before the start of Mass will be necessary. So Mass begins at 4 o'clock Saturday night. Would you make sure you're in line by 4:45? Same thing with Mass at, of course, 9 o'clock. Would you be waiting in line at the front door at 8:45? And at 11:45? Thank you. Do I have to wear a mask? You do. Everyone who enters the church is required to wear a mask and to keep the mask on except when receiving Holy Communion until you exit the church. This helps protect you and everyone else attending from getting sick. Now, there may be people who disagree with that. And you may say, no, this is not going to happen. You don't have to worry about that. I respect your opinion. But can I ask you to please be charitable and just wear it for the sake of others who feel uncomfortable with your opinion? Because your opinion is your opinion. But we are directed that we should wear masks while in church. And since we're being directed as the Archdiocese of Philadelphia and all of her parishes and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the CDC, I have to respect that. I know you have your opinion and I value your opinion, but on behalf of everyone in charity, would you please wear it? Would you please wear your mask when you come into church? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. When do I remove my mask for Holy Communion? After replying Amen and receiving the sacred host in your hand, please step aside, remove one side of your mask. You could hold you're holding the host, you could and then place the sacred host into your mouth. Put your mask back on, and then you may proceed back to your pew. Can I just remind you one more time that you cannot walk with the host? I don't know if you realize it, But many people, not even during this pandemic, many people walk back to their pew eating the sacred host. So even during the normal time, we're not allowed to do that. We're always supposed to eat and drink at the altar. So when we come up to receive Holy Communion, after we receive Holy Communion, we're supposed to step to the side, look at the cross and altar, and eat at the table of the Lord. We're never to eat at the table of the Lord. How can we eat at the table of the Lord while we're walking, right? So would you do me a favor? Would you please stay up front and receive Holy Communion and not walk away with the host? Whether it's this time or whether when we're back to green. But please, stay and receive the sacred host at the altar of the Lord. Thank you so much. What if I receive Holy Communion on the tongue? While we strongly encourage everyone to receive by hand, if you feel you must receive on the tongue, we ask you to follow the communion procession up the center aisle and then go to Deacon Don, who will be standing by the piano in the music ministry area. So you still have to come up the center aisle. I want to make that perfectly clear. Please don't come up the St. Joseph side. You have to come up the center aisle. You'll pass me when it comes your turn, because then I'll know, oh, you're not receiving communion from me. You're passing me and you're going over to the piano on the St. Joseph side. So you'll be going over to that area, in the music area, for communion on the tongue. You should remove your mask after replying amen, and then replace your mask after reception and continue back to your pew. Now, you might be seated on the Blessed Mother side. You'll still have to go down the St. Joseph across the back and up the Blessed Mother side. Unless you know automatically, like today, oh, the communion on the tongue station is on the St. Joseph side. I think I'm going to stay on the St. Joseph side. So, that could be a good thing for you if you don't want to walk around. But if you want to get your steps in, then you can do it. I'm only making light of this issue. I'm not trying to do anything but make light of it. Okay, let's go to the next question. How do we maintain social distancing while receiving Holy Communion? These are all good questions. You people are good. The ushers will be guiding all those who wish to receive Holy Communion out of their pews into the center aisle of the church. You should form a single file line while processing. There will be yellow dots on the floor in the aisle. Once the person in front of you advances, you can move to the next dot until you reach the front. You should return to your pew via the side aisles, making sure to leave the 6-foot distance to the person in front of you. We ask you to please listen to the instructions of the ushers for the safety of all attending Mass. Because those who are sitting on the side by the wall, you'll be going down and up the center. But there'll be ushers to help you do that. You're not going to cross over the Red Sea. Again, I'm making light of this. You're not going to, if you're sitting over at the wall side by the Blessed Mother, you're not going to cross over into the main bank of pews, like crossing the Red Sea. Now you have to go down the aisle and then up the center. Okay? Thank you very much again. If I requested the Mass intention, am I able to bring up the gifts? Unfortunately, no. During this restricted yellow phase, there will be no offertory procession. The gifts will be placed on the credence table by the altar. You know those 2 tables that the altar servers sit next to? They're called credence tables. And the gifts will be already on the credence table as you look to the altar on the left. Will a collection still be taken? Yes, the ushers will come around with the collection baskets as usual. All baskets have been cleaned and sanitized before this weekend and after every Mass. If you're uncomfortable with placing your donation in the basket, we encourage you to mail in your donation or use parish giving or PayPal for any contributions you wish to make. Okay? And thank you for your contributions. We are several $1,000s behind, but what am I going to do? I mean, it's a donation, and I thank you for your donations. I mean, I'm very grateful. We're just behind, and we have to find ways to make it up. So hopefully with us going back to church, we'll be making up, but people may have lost their jobs. So we have to also think about that. But listen, I'm grateful for anything you do to keep this beautiful place open and active. Thank you. What has the parish done in regards to cleaning the church in preparation for public masses? In preparation for the return of public masses, St. Mary Parish has engaged the service of Superior Cleaning Solutions. That's the title of the company, Superior Cleaning Solutions, to perform a deep cleaning and sanitizing of the church, which took place yesterday. In addition, the church vestibules and bathrooms will be cleaned and sanitized after every Mass, according to the directives by the Center for Disease Control. If you would like to volunteer to help with the church cleaning, please see the sign-up genius on the parish website. Many hands make light work. So in between the Masses, 4, 9, 12, we'll need people to help us with the pews, the bathrooms, and the entryways. Do I have to wear gloves? Gloves are not required. With the deep cleaning of the church and the cleaning and sanitizing of the church between every Mass, you should not need to wear gloves. Hand sanitizers will be available at the entrance of the church, and you can bring your own little hand sanitizer with you. If you feel you should wear gloves, we do ask that you remove them before receiving Holy Communion. So guys, I can't give you Holy Communion in your hand if you have gloves on. You have to take the gloves off. Remember, flesh to flesh. I can't give you Holy Communion in your hand if you have gloves on. So just take the gloves, because you have to pick it up with one, and it's going to be on one. Receive Holy Communion, and then if you want to put your gloves back on, just make sure that there's no particles on your hand. And then when you get back to your pew, you can put your gloves on. But I don't see the reason of wearing gloves, but of course, everything is, up to you. What happens at the conclusion of Mass? We ask that you please wait in your pew until an usher directs you to an exit. This may result in a longer exit time than usual. However, our goal is to get everyone in and out of church as safe as possible. We also ask that you leave the church immediately upon dismissing from your pew. While we do appreciate everyone's love and fellowship at St. Mary's, please do so outside and continue to practice safe distancing. See, so I get it. You like to talk to one another and you show your love and fellowship. But can you do me a favor and just do that outside? Like I told you, we have 23 acres. You could form a circle somewhere and have a 6-foot distance around that circle. Circle of love. How's that? What is the confession schedule during the restricted yellow phase? Well, confession will be heard every Saturday from 12 to 12:30. I'm not going to leave at 12:30 if another person's in line. Don't worry. But I ask you to try to keep to that half hour. So if you could get there by 11:45, get in line and have a 6-foot distance with your mask on, that's great. And then you'll be coming in as you hear the bell. The next person comes in. The next person comes in. But if there's people after 12:30, absolutely I'll stay. Absolutely. Confessions will be heard in the chapel. Why? Well, because the reconciliation room is like a telephone booth. No ventilation, no windows, and I could hardly fit in the reconciliation room, let alone 2 people. So the chapel has space for social distancing. The chapel has room enough for ventilation. The chapel has windows. So it's a good place for us to be in the chapel. Okay, so confessions will be heard in the chapel, but please enter through the church to wait. Our sacristan, Peggy Hinson, will be directing those for confession into the chapel. So you go into church, you line up in church, right? And then you're directed into the chapel. And then when you get into the chapel, you leave by the chapel door. Now, if you want to go around and come back into church to say your penance, you can. If you want to say your penance in your car, you can. If you want to say your penance at home, you can. Okay? So we're meeting in church. We're lining up on the Blessed Mother's side, 6 feet in between each other. And then we're guided into the chapel via the sacristy, right? And then you go to confession, and then you're exiting the chapel door. So you're not reversing, you're exiting, okay? Thank you. I'm just thinking to myself, it's like those rides, like once you enter, you can't get back in again. It's like all these things. But anyway, God bless you. Will the church still be open for private prayer and adoration during the week while we are still in the restricted yellow phase? Yes. The church will be open Monday through Saturday from 12 to 3 for private prayer. The Blessed Sacrament will be on the church altar during this time as long as we have adorers present. To sign up for adoration, please see the Sign Up Genius on the parish website. Please note that the church is only open on Sundays during scheduled public mass times. Okay? I'll repeat that. Please note that the church is only open on Sundays during the scheduled public mass times. The church will not be open on Sundays for private prayer and adoration. Well, we hope that this answers most of your questions before we begin in person and through those public masses, 4, 9, 12. While everyone is getting used to these new procedures, we ask for your patience and kindness. I am sure that everyone will grow more comfortable with them as time goes on, and we will be refining them as needed in the coming weeks. As always, we thank you for your love of St. Mary Parish, and we cannot wait to welcome you back home this weekend. So they were the most frequently asked questions. I hope I got them all. And I hope I wasn't too reading them. I hope I was giving you some love there. But thank you for asking them. Please send them to Sandy. Either call the parish office center, say, hey Sandy, I heard Father, answer all the questions. I have another one for you. What happens if? And then she could probably answer it. If not, you'll see me back. Or you could email Sandy. Her email address is on the front of the bulletin, and or the inside cover of the bulletin, with all the names of who's who in the zoo. You could find her email address, and you could just pop her an email and say, hey Sandy, what about this situation? Okay? And she'll be more than happy to answer it. So everyone, thank you very much. Thank you for joining me in Afternoon Reflections. I am going to still have them during the yellow phase, so don't worry. I'm going to still be with you. I'm going to give you some love, because I love you very much. I miss all of you. It's kind of different saying Mass to just IT people and liturgical team people. I mean, I love them, but I mean, it's just a few. In red, you had to be 10 and less, right? 10 and less. And in this yellow restricted, it's 50% of the footprint. So, and as we go along, we'll see how these yellow turns to green if they are, or whatever. We'll be keeping watch of that. And we'll observing how many are coming back to Mass, okay? and we'll try to do our very best to make your parish church a most beautiful place to worship God. And we appreciate everything, because the more I know, the more I could fix whatever is not fixed, right? But we try our best here, and realize that we cannot accommodate every single or put into practice every single thing, because there's much more to this than I guess the average person understands. That's with life in general, whether it's a supermarket, whether it's a church, whether it's a synagogue, whatever the place is. I'm sure there's much more than just what we think. And how we learn here at the Parish Office Center. We learn because we get directives as well from the Commonwealth, from the CDC, and from the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. They filter all that to us. So it's not us making the decisions. You know that, right? I mean, there's a couple tweaks that we do, but I mean, for the main part of everything, we get our orders. And so because we belong to a group called the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, which is part of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, which follows the CDC. So we're in conjunction with that. So I listen to Archbishop Nelson Perez, who is my superior. And so it's very important that I listen to him. And he conveys a lot to Father Dennis Gill, who is the director for the Office for Divine Worship. And he's also the pastor and rector of the Cathedral Basilica and Shrine of St. Catherine Drexel in Philadelphia. Boy, says a lot of those things. So thank you for shedding some love to us, and prayers and kindness. And thank you for tuning in. Happy St. Boniface Day, everybody.